you just order one color of each foundation to do makeovers? Yes. So I have pretty much the basics. I don't have like a lot of the dark tones, but I have one of each of the lighter shades in the different undertones of pink, yellow, neutral. And that's really important, I think. But if you don't have it, you can customize it still. Like, well, I think this might work for you. This might look a little too yellow, so you would probably want to use this. But you guys need to be confident in your approach to that so that they don't feel unsure of like what you're offering or suggesting. Let's see. Yeah, 3 piles. So that's huge. And 3 piles like then allows them to be like, okay, so this is 150. But if I add this, I can get this collection, and then I get all of this. And then there you go, there's your $200 sale. So, okay, any more questions about overcoming obstacles or the cash and carry or makeup kind of consults, all that kind of stuff that I do? On to the next, costs. It costs too much, or I've never spent that much on makeup. So I always ask them why. Like, why haven't they? And I'm not saying that in a rude way. I'm not saying that in a demeaning way. I'm not saying that in a, like, I don't want them to feel stupid about it, but I want them to be educated as to what they're putting on their skin. So I talk about the quality of the makeup. I talk about the chemicals that are in makeup and the chemicals that we don't want on our skin. So like everything gets absorbed into our body. And I think once I became pregnant, I became so much more aware of this because, you know, you're really, you want to protect and keep everything safe from that little baby. So just, you want to question as to like why they don't care what they're putting on their skin and reassure them that these are high quality, not tested on animals, talc, paraben, chemical free, like naturally based. And I think somebody touched on this earlier. So a lot of people, when they battle the price, it's because they're using cheap makeup, so they're used to cheap results. They have never invested in a product that gives the results of like a Younique foundation because they're expecting the results of a Revlon liquid foundation or a Revlon powder. So tons of time they like don't know what color to get. Colors don't match. The coverage is too much. The coverage is too less. Is not enough. It's powdery. It's too wet. It makes me look orange. I don't know how to apply it. Those are the things that like that they'll compare it to. So they'll be like, why would I spend $40 on a foundation when I can spend $15, you know, at Target? And it's like, well, this is why. These are the results or why. And until they try it, they won't get it. So I get that a lot. And like, I respect that people don't have money all the time, but I like to reassure them that it's the results that will speak for themselves. It's a results driven line. And once they use it and see what it does for their skin and then have the reassurance that they're not putting anything harsh onto their body, they will feel good about spending $39 on a foundation. And they'll probably be a customer for life. And a lot of times, you know, and I find this with my age group, I'm 34 years old and I'm a working mom of 2, and we tend to not spend money on ourselves. We're thinking about everybody else. And it's time that women start taking care of themselves and caring about what they're doing and caring for their bodies. So it's all kind of that wrapped in one. I think that, I'm sorry, I lost my place. I think that if you're doing I call it like prescriptive selling, and you're recommending like something that's very much in tune to their needs, and you are in tune to what they're wanting, then they will get the product that they need and they won't even bat an eyelash at the price. And I like to always use, if anybody have ever like heard me talk on some of our calls, it's like, don't spend somebody else's money, offer them everything, assume they can buy everything, tell them why they need it, show them what's great, don't sell them something they don't need. If you know somebody's not going to use a contouring kit, don't sell them a contouring kit. But if you know that they could really benefit from some concealer and, foundation, go that range. So it's all in your approach to how you feel about the product line. If you think it's expensive and you portray that, your customers are going to think it's expensive. So I use the example, I work in a salon and I sell $45 Christa shampoo. $45 is a lot of money for a bottle of shampoo. But I walk up there with confidence because I know that they will go through less product in the time that they've bought 3 bottles of store-bought brand. I know what they're putting on their hair that's going to protect my color. I know that it's super, super concentrated and all they need is a little bit, and I can guarantee that they will get the results that they're looking for. So it's all in confidence. I'm going to the correct product for them and knowing that I have no doubt now when I walk up and sell a $45 shampoo or a $40 bottle of foundation that they're getting what they need and what they're looking for. So that's always a big one. Okay. I think too with cost, and I'm not saying this to be rude, and please don't take this in any offense, but I think I talked earlier, try not to discount or do promotions as much as you possibly can, because what will happen is you'll build a coupon clientele. And I can only relate this back to when my husband started doing hair. He does hair as well. He worked in a salon that always advertised like a $50 cut and color. And he built a $50 cut and color clientele. And like the clients that were coming in were always asking for that deal. And I charge now $130 for a cut and color. And so he was never going to attain that client that was going to pay $130 because he was building a $50 clientele. So if you can think about it that way, try to build a customer base that wants to pay full price and that is willing to pay full price and make that investment. And then when you do have these, flash sales once a year, twice a year, whatever you choose to do, you can really use that as a way to say thank you to those people that have supported you throughout the year and just say, you know what, I've invited you into this VIP flash sale because you've been such a loyal customer to me. And, I want to offer you these discounts on the products that maybe you have purchased before. And so just kind of be creative in that sense, in how you're promoting and how you're building your customer base. So I'm going to stop there and open it up for any questions about cost. So if I didn't answer any questions, I'm going to scroll back and see if... Gail, that's funny. Tell Harper I said hi. Oh, Angie, huge point. Huge point. Don't ever assume what somebody can afford. And I can relate this back to my first kind of year being a hairstylist. And a woman came in, I had a great client. And she was a regular, every 6 to 8 weeks, highlight haircut. She came on her day off and she came in her sweatpants, no makeup, t-shirt, and like, it's a high-end salon, right? So you walk in and it's fancy, but I want people to feel okay walking in there and their sweatshirt and no makeup. And she didn't. And it wasn't from me, but it was from the looks that she got from like the front desk or maybe a coworker. Now, granted, this was like 8 years ago. And she said something to me and it really bothered me about how she felt when she walked in there. And I had brought my manager over at the time and she came over to talk to her and she said, I have a checkbook just like everybody else. And you don't know how much money is in that checkbook. And so the fact that I feel like everyone's looking at me like, what are you doing here? Like, you can't afford to be here. Like that, you cannot prejudge who's going to spend what, because it's not your job to do that. It's your job to just offer what we have, which is great products. And if they want to buy it, they will buy it. And if they can't afford it, they might then start saving up to buy it. So, yeah, don't ever prejudge what somebody can afford. Any other questions with cost? I'm going to move on to upselling. So, everyone, they won't purchase and I have done everything. So that's, yep, Angie's got it. Okay. So, when you say, Christy, when you say you've done everything, so, maybe I always say, like, when my girls come to me and say they've done everything, and this is by all means, we all haven't done everything. So we all need to step out of our box. So that is really a great, I think, door to open for you to actually look at what terrifies you about the business and do that, because that will typically shoot you to a whole nother level. And like, I never did videos and I never did tutorials and I never did custom consultations. And I was the only one at Unified when we went to Clearwater that had never made a video, and I was mortified of myself, but I'm like, you know what? I have to do this. Like, I have to step outside my comfort zone. And I did it, and I sold like hundreds of dollars worth of makeup from doing that. So if you're having a hard time and you're struggling, reach out to your upline and just say, what's something different? So like, if you could come up with a list of something different that maybe you haven't done, and come up with some creative ideas, but utilize that conversation with them and really try to focus in on some different aspects to engage kind of your VIP group. In-home parties are scary, but they don't have to be. So if you want to host an in-home party, make it as casual as you can. Like, you want your customers to feel as comfortable as they can. And if you make it too, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't have to be perfect. Like, it has to be casual. Like, this is casual. You have to just be able to talk to people and educate people and let them touch the makeup, feel the makeup, have some snacks. It really gives you an avenue to then maybe go into more custom consultations and build off of that. So anybody who shows up to an in-home party is pretty interested in learning about the makeup. So have confidence in that they're showing up, and more than likely somebody's going to buy something. And if not, you'll get your first one out of the way and you kind of just learn from there. So really stepping out of your comfort zones, I'm really going to encourage you guys to do, because it's what's going to help you build your customer base, and it's going to build you as a leader. So I'm going to tell you guys all a secret, like, and Angie knows this, that I have never, ever gone live. So this is the first time I'm going live ever on Facebook, and it terrified me. Like, I've just never done this. It's something that I sit back and I watch people do it, and I have to do it in my own time. So with Angie reaching out to me and asking me to do it, that was my push. Like, that was my push to do something different. So it's like, if you can really just look within yourself, because I know this to be true, that once I step out of my comfort zones, like, beautiful things happen. So really, 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 I'm begging all of you who don't do stuff that like scare you to do it, because you will see like how crazy of a response you will get. Like, it's amazing. Yeah, Mimosa's mascara, wine and cheese. I've heard people do margaritas and makeovers. Yeah, a lot of people hate doing videos, but who cares if you screw up? Like, who cares? You're a person, you're human. People don't want to see perfect. So, Rebecca, don't even worry about it. Oh, well, thanks, guys. Thanks. So that's what, just keep it real. Like, if you're scared of doing videos, just do a video and get one out of the way, and it'll be easy. Okay, upselling. I'm getting back on track. So, really, I'm going to give you guys just some really, really easy upsells. So, if somebody's buying a foundation primer or product, you need to sell them a primer. Like, so if somebody says, "Oh, I've heard about that liquid foundation. Like, that's, you know, tell me about it," and you tell them about it, and they say, "Okay, I'll take one," and then you're like, "Yes, I got a sale," and then you're like, "Okay, like anything else?" And I'm always in the like, okay, so if you're gonna buy the foundation, I'm gonna really encourage you to use our primer with it. Do you use a primer? No. Why would I use a primer?